So we have this major ceasefire between the US and Iran. It was supposed to be a sigh of relief, right? A step back from the edge. But, well, it's only been a few days and this whole fragile peace is already about to shatter. There's a new conflict that could literally pull the entire region right back into war. So the big question is, how did things go so wrong so fast? Let's get into it.
One of the reports we're looking at just sums this up so perfectly. It says, they emerged from a great war, now stuck on Lebanon. And that really hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? It captures the tension perfectly. After this huge, devastating conflict, all hopes for peace now hinge on this one place, which has, you guessed it, become the brand new battleground for some very old rivalries.
All right, Section 1. So how did we even get to this point? To really get why this truce is on such shaky ground, we need to do a quick rewind and look at the chaos that got us here.
And when you look at the timeline, it's pretty staggering. First, you have a brutal 40-day war. Then, finally, a 14-day ceasefire is hammered out. And for a second there, it really felt like a breakthrough. You could almost feel the entire region take a deep breath. But then, bam! A massive Israeli airstrike hits Lebanon, shattering the peace. And just like that, in a single instant, the whole game changed.
Okay, Section 2. And that brings us right to the flashpoint, Lebanon. Let's really dig into the attack that just threw this whole ceasefire into complete chaos. The scale of this thing is just wild. We're talking about more than 100 Hezbollah-linked targets hit in, get this, just 10 minutes. I mean, this wasn't some minor border skirmish. This was a massive, overwhelming assault. It was clearly designed to send a very, very powerful message. And of course, the human cost was immediate and absolutely devastating. Initial reports claimed over 200 casualties in Lebanon. A number like that instantly raises the stakes and puts the entire region on the highest alert.
To give you a sense of what it was like, a reporter on the ground at the Israel-Lebanon border painted this really vivid picture. They said the sky was full of interceptions, and the whole area was trembling with the sound of explosions. I mean, imagine that. For the people living there, surrounded by sirens and explosions, this so-called ceasefire probably felt like it never even started.
All right, on to Section 3. So this brings us to the big mystery at the heart of all this. Why? Why launch a huge attack right in the middle of a ceasefire? Well, the answer comes down to a really fundamental disagreement over what the deal even meant in the first place. And it all boils down to this one simple question. Is Lebanon actually part of the ceasefire deal? This is the question that could spark a full-blown war all over again. And as you're about to see, when it comes to the answer, well, the two sides are living in completely different worlds. And here's the core disagreement. It's incredibly simple, but it seems impossible to solve. On one side, you have Iran. They're saying, absolutely, the ceasefire includes a halt to attacks in Lebanon. So from their point of view, this attack is a clear violation. But then you have the USA, and they're saying, nope, this ceasefire has nothing to do with Lebanon. They're not just disagreeing on a minor point here. They are operating from two totally different rulebooks. So Iran's foreign minister put it very bluntly. He said, the U.S. can either choose the ceasefire or war through Israel. It cannot choose both options. This is basically an ultimatum. They're telling the U.S., look, you have a choice. Either you honor the whole deal, which to us includes Lebanon, or you're choosing war. And the response from the U.S.? Just as direct. A White House official came out and said, Lebanon is not part of the ceasefire. Iran's accusations are baseless. So the U.S. position is rock solid. The deal doesn't cover Lebanon, and because of that, no terms were broken. They see Iran's claims as just completely made up. It's a total diplomatic stalemate. Okay, Section 4. So you've got two sides at a complete and total impasse. Which leads to the big question, what happens now? I mean, the future of this whole conflict, and honestly, the stability of the entire region, is just hanging in the balance. And really, this is the only question that matters right now. Will this ceasefire break? You have Iran crying foul, claiming a major violation. You have the U.S. backing Israel's actions. The agreement is literally hanging by a thread. And the path back to all-out war feels dangerously close. We're not just talking about these countries. A wider war could pull in other regional powers and cause chaos for global energy markets. The stakes are incredibly high. And that brings us to our final thought, a quote that really sums up where we are.
the ball is now in America's court. Everyone is watching to see what happens next. Is the next move going to be a step towards calming things down, or is it going to be the one that finally pushes this fragile truce right off the cliff?